panicking. I am sweating like, Judy, what did you do? Why are you doing this? What did you get yourself into? Hello, I'm Judy, the organizer and creator at Rescue My Space. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. So today's video is a story time video, and as you probably read in the title, it is a story time video about my first ever client outside of my family and friends. So while I'm talking, I'll also be organizing and cleaning out my handbag, my purse. I have been wanting to do this for so long, and I'm like, why not do it on camera and show people all your business? So with that said, let's get right into the video. All right, so here's my bag. Here she is. She is a big bag. I use this bag for work, but she's become my everyday bag as well because I don't feel like switching her out. Love her, super sturdy. I literally take her everywhere. All right, let's dump her out. Oof. She is a little bit heavy right now. Okay, I'm just gonna take everything out. I'm like, let's just see what's in here. I know one thing I have, guys. I know one thing. One thing I have a lot of are receipts in this bag. Okay, labels, money, more dollars. Container store, very important card. Guys, this bag can fit a lot in it. Okay. Okay. Whew. Jewelry. More cash. Very important battery. Let me make sure there's nothing in these pockets. Ooh, a penny. I'm sure I found this penny somewhere because every time I find a penny, I always pick her up. Not just pennies, but change. I think it was Marie Forleo that talked about how she picks up coins as well. And so when she said it, I was like, oh my gosh, me too. Anyway, don't judge me. She is empty. Okay, let me get a little comfortable. All right, so where do I start first? So when it comes to cleaning out my purse, I like to follow certain steps. I like to go through everything and declutter. Y'all probably know what I'm gonna do. Declutter first, categorize, put everything back. There's gonna be a lot of this stuff that's gonna come out of my purse, so I'll just somehow try to incorporate what I'm doing and the story time in one. I don't know. Anyway, so, okay, my first client took place about 7 years ago, roughly. And boy, oh boy, was it a time in my life. So before I even took on an actual client, I was organizing my own home. Like, I lived with my parents, and I was also organizing like friends' homes. And it was really simple. Like, I wasn't doing anything like major. Actually, the one major project that I did was my own closet, which is what I posted on Craigslist, and my mom's closet, those two spaces. I remember it took about 4 to 5 days to organize my mom's closet. She had clothes from the 70s. So there was something about doing that was extremely cathartic. Plus, I just knew that it really took a weight off of my mom, and I knew that there was something there, you know? So even though organizing family and friends' homes is challenging, it's still pretty simple compared to organizing a stranger's home. So it all started with a post on Craigslist, and after a few years, I renewed the post, and then I had someone contact me. She was the second person that contacted me, and she wanted to get her closet organized. Let's start decluttering. First and foremost, I was terrified because even though I knew this is what I wanted to do, I posted it on Craigslist, I was terrified because one, people were calling, and two, this was Craigslist. Even though back in the day, Craigslist was a little bit more trusted, but still, it was Craigslist. So I didn't know who I was contacting. Sorry, I'm just gonna, you know what, let me focus on the cards. I'll put them in one area. Coins. So she contacted me. I was at work at the time. I was working in project management at a company, one of what, 3 or 4. And I went on ahead and took her call during work hours. She called me and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, I went outside. I remember taking her call, going outside and talking to her for about like 15 to 20 minutes. I was afraid for my life, not for my life, but I was afraid because I was like, wow, I'm at work. I probably shouldn't be taking a call, a personal call. Plus she was asking me questions and I had to like follow up with answers that made sense. So basically she was telling me about what her issues were with her closet. And I was like, okay, I'm listening, right? I'm just letting them talk, because it's really important when you are taking on a new client that you let them talk and express what they are experiencing so that you create a solution for their issues. You always want to make sure that you are a solution-based company, because especially in the service business, because that's what people need. Anyway, so I'm listening to her. So I'm putting my cards in one section, like my gift cards in one section, and like my appointment cards and like, I don't know, other cards in one section. So anyway, so I'm talking with her outside and I'm like looking back, seeing if someone's coming to tell me to come in and go to work. No one does, but we speak for a while. And then somehow in the conversation, I was like, oh my gosh, let me give your home a consultation. At that point, I never really thought about a consultation. Like, of course I knew that I had to see people's space in person, but I never really knew I would be doing it. So once she said yes, I took her address and I scheduled it. But to even get to scheduling, I mean, I was like, I can't believe that this person trusts me. And at the time, again, first client. So thankfully I did have experience because of what I've done in other people's homes, like family and friends' homes. But it was still my first client, you know, because again, when you do family and friends' homes, you can take your time. You're just, you know, kind of slowly doing things. When you are taking on an actual client, you need a process. You can't take your time. I mean, you can take your time, but you can't take a month, right? Like, you have to work efficiently because they're usually looking for you to finish on time or at a certain time, which usually is a few days, weeks, depending on the type of client. Sometimes clients take months. So anyway, let me put this cash together. I keep staring at it. So I scheduled a consultation. She gives me her address and I send it to Tony. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my first consultation. Where does she live? You know, it was a woman. And we look up her address. I'm like, okay, this neighborhood looks safe. So I guess I should be fine. So anyway, so I actually looked her up. Like, we looked her up. We were like, who is this person? We have to see that she is legit, that she is not some crazy, you know, Craigslist killer, because that, I think, was pretty relevant at the time, Craigslist killers. So I was very nervous because I didn't want to be part of that, of course. And even though going to people's homes is still risky even today, you know, I feel like it's now in my career, I'm a little bit more comfortable with it compared to before, when it was just like, I don't think I've ever been in a stranger's home. So anyway, bye honey. So anyway, so I scheduled the consultation and I actually go. So because I was still working, the consultation was like later on in the evening. I don't even think I told her I was working. I was just letting her know, like, oh, I can do it in the evening time. And she was so sweet. This client, my first client, is probably the sweetest client I've ever had. I am so grateful that she was my first client, because if I would have had someone who was not as nice, I probably would not have continued, or maybe it would have been harder to continue. Anyway, so I go to the consultation in the evening time, and this is right after work, and then I go there and I'm shitting bricks. I mean, who is this person? Like, even though I go into the neighborhood, it's like gated, it's a pretty nice neighborhood, still, you never know. So I get to her house and I park and I'm like, okay, it seems normal. And then I've spoken to her a few times. So it's not like she's a complete stranger, but still, I don't know who she is. So anyway, I call Tony and I put him on hold, not on hold, but I call him and I put the phone in my purse, and I tell him before that, I'm like, hey, I'm going to call you and I'm just going to like have you listen in on the consultation. And when I hang up, I feel pretty safe. So I call him, he's on the phone right now in my purse, and I'm walking to the door, panicking. I am sweating like, Judy, what did you do? Why are you doing this? What did you get yourself into? I'm literally talking myself out of this. But at this point, I've already rang the bell, so where am I going? So she answers the door and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so sweet. The sweetest energy ever. She was extremely trusting. I mean, for some reason, she just trusted me and knew that I could deliver something. So I walk in her home. She closed the door. I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh crap, this can still be doom. And anyway, she takes me to her closet. So I go to her closet and I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, this is not too bad. I've organized my mom's closet. That took me a minute. She had a lot of stuff. She was difficult. This seems like it's going to be similar or less, not daunting, but less difficult because she is someone who's ready for this. My mom wasn't all the way ready. I kind of forced her to organize her closet, but this client seems ready. And her closet was a similar size as my mom, a little larger, but similar size. So I kind of understood like, okay, I've organized a space like this before, so this is easy. Anywho, so we do the consultation. I'm there way longer than I probably should be because you can tell I'm nervous. And when I'm nervous, I start talking and you're just trying to like, I don't know if it's like, the nerves are like yeah, they are. Because I'm so nervous, I'm just talking about things and I'm just like, oh, getting to know. But then again, I'm getting to know her because for me, when I get to know someone, I feel a bit safer. So I'm getting to know her and she's just sharing a lot of information with me, and which is helping me understand how to organize or what her organizing or what her issues are with organizing her closet. And then, I'm writing down information. I don't think I took photos, which I don't know how anyway, I don't think I took photos, but I'm writing down information and I'm like, okay, great. So we get to the end of the consultation and then I leave. So I call Tony and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was great. Of course I feel good now. I'm not sweating anymore because I'm like, wow, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay, whatever. So I send her the quote, like maybe a day later. I scheduled 4 hours for a medium to large size closet. If you know anything about organizing, that ain't enough. So for a medium, just to give you some type of reference, for a medium to large size closet, for one person, it should take about 8 to 10 hours to do it efficiently. Maybe some people could go faster than that, not me. At the time, I was so new to it, so I was a little nervous to like charge a lot or to charge a lot. I wanted to be cheap. I wanted to quote low so that I had the likelihood of her contacting me again or saying, yes, I want to work with you. But of course, as I organized her space, I learned that was a mistake. Anyway, so we schedule everything. She approves the quote. Okay. I think it was like $50 an hour. So it was like $200. To me, that was like $200. What? Of me doing something that I enjoy compared to like going to work. I was like, oh my gosh, that's great. So anyway, she approves the quote and then we book it, and then days or maybe about a week goes by. I think it's a weekend and it's the day of the session. So whatever, I get ready throughout the week. I get ready. I like do a lot of research. I'm like, what do you do? How do you organize a closet? What do you do to organize it? Like I was just literally researching, Pinteresting everything, like looking at spaces to see like, oh, this is how they organized. And at the time I was not a product person. Like I had no idea what to do with products. I just knew I liked how they look, but how to use them? Nope. Maybe hangers, maybe, but like to put things in bins, I understood how to do that, but I didn't know what to put in them. So trust me, organizing is a learned skill. Even though I did it growing up, you still have to build that skill. Anyway, So I had no products. We were going to use her original hangers, or did I just switch them out? No. I think we used her original hangers. She had like a mixture of hangers, which she had some wire hangers in there. And I was like, ugh, I don't like these. But anyway, we move. So I get in, she takes me to her closet and she leaves me there. I didn't speak up. I didn't say, hey, you need to be here with me. We got to declutter. Oh no, I didn't do any of that. I just kind of was like, okay, in 4 hours, we'll be done. And I don't know why I did that, because I wish I would have spoke up. It's really important, especially if you are trying to be an organizer, that you do speak up. Like, you are the expert, and you staying quiet and saying nothing because you're scared or because, I don't know, you don't want to make the client uncomfortable is a no-go. Of course, nowadays I don't do that. Like, completely different organizer than I was when I first started, and completely different business. But back in the day, I didn't say anything. I was afraid almost that the client was going to not like me or cancel. So I didn't say anything. And I was in her closet for 4 hours. And within those 4 hours, that is where a lot of things happened. So as I get in the closet, I have no idea what to do. I am like, where do I start? I'm trying to see, let me build you guys a picture. She has a medium-sized closet. She has a lot of clothes. Like, clothes are jammed on the closet rod. And and she shares the closet with her husband, which I don't even know how he had his clothes in there. But he had like a little corner. Meanwhile, she had the entire closet, which I see all the time, of course. But at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, she has so much stuff, but I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to say it to her. So I was like, okay, Judi, what do you know? What do you know? Oh my gosh, since you're not decluttering, we got to reposition some things. So I was like, okay, let's categorize. So I remember being like, okay, let me start with short sleeves. So I'm like in the short sleeves, putting them together. I go to like the tanks, put them together, long sleeves, put them together, and then I put them in one section. I'm like, cool, categorized. And then I'm like, skirts, dresses, like I'm literally just going down the clothing items and putting them together, not even color coordinating, just categorizing them so that when she goes in there, at least she knows where things are. She can see that, oh, my skirts are right here. My tops are right here, just to make her process of getting ready easy. I just knew how to do that. I was like, okay, cool. So then I go over, no, I'm not even gonna go there. Meanwhile, her cat chooses to join me. By the way, I used to be deathly afraid of cats. Like, I remember growing up in the apartments, and I had a friend who had a cat, indoor cat. Every time I would go to his house, I'd be like, put your cat away. I would not mess with that cat. And he would put it away. He'll put it in the bathroom. I was like, please put it away. Every time I go to his house, I was so afraid. Even like the stray cats, I would like run from them. I was like, please, like, can y'all move away? I was scared of cats. And so at that time, I have learned how to dodge cats. So there was no cats in my area, nowhere around me at that time in my life. But so when I came into the client's house, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about this. Pets. Like, people have pets. So anyway, this cat comes in and he's like, I don't know if it's a he or she, but we're gonna call him a he. And so he comes in and he's just like, you know, like doing what cats do, in and out of the clothes. And I'm just like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, please, cat, go away. And of course, I didn't speak up. So I didn't tell the client that I was afraid of cats. I think she mentioned like, oh, you know, he's harmless. He'll be coming in and out. And I'm like, oh, that's fine. Why did I say that? Anyway. So, okay, so I'm putting things in categories. Stuff that I like in my purse. I have some pins. This is going out. This is staying. These are going out. You get out. This is going out. I don't need this in my purse. I'm sorry, guys. I know. I'm deep into this story and I'm automatically stopping. I'm literally like at the point where I'm like, okay, all this can go. Let me put this here. So since that's money, this is honestly trash. I'm not even gonna look at the receipt. For what? You're going away. I don't need them anymore. These are like really old receipts. I've already scanned the really important ones. These are just regular receipts. Go. Anywho, so everything's categorized, which is good. This one's important. And then my cards. All right, you can go here. Okay, we'll get back to this. So anyway, so this cat is like bothering me, but not bothering me for real. Like the cat's like, I'm just being a cat, but I'm like, leave me alone. So I'm freaking out inside, right? Like almost crying inside. I'm not gonna show the client that, even though the client wasn't in there, but I didn't want to show them that I was freaking out. So I'm just like letting this cat do its thing. It's like going in and out of the clothes, hiding for a little bit. He'll go out and I'll find, you know, when he'll go out of the closet, I'll find like some kind of relief and I'm like, okay, great, we're good, we're good. And then he'll come back in and I'll just like, oh no, get scared again and just like try my best to like do whatever I'm doing in the closet. Time goes on and I'm like, okay, this cat, me and you are gonna be one. And I kind of just start getting used to it. I'm like, well, the cat isn't like scratching me. It isn't jumping on my face and scratching on my eyeball. So I guess it's a little harmless. So I started to understand that, okay, this cat's not trying to harm me. So why am I afraid of it? Anyway, so I let the cat do its thing. Even though I'm not completely healed, like I'm still afraid, but I'm a little bit at ease because I'm noticing that this cat isn't attacking me. And that was always my fear of cats, is like, they're gonna attack me and I'm gonna be blind and they're gonna scratch me over my face. You know, you like watch stuff when you're growing up and you're like, that's what cats do. And also growing up in a Nigerian household, they don't like cats. So in the meantime, as the cat is doing its thing and I'm somehow doing whatever I am in this closet, she comes in, you know, she checks on me and I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And again, super sweet. She actually makes me food. So I'm just there probably like hour 3 going through everything. And I don't know why, but she's like, oh my gosh, this looks good. I'm like, really? Compared to what my work is today, I was like, there's no way. There's no way that this work that I was doing in this closet was good at all. Like I did not deserve payment. I'm gonna be real. Cause not that, maybe to her the job was good, but to me, there's a lot of mistakes, I'll say, that I did that I probably could have done better moving, you know, at that time. But because it was so new, I had no idea what I was doing. Like I knew what I was doing. I knew how to organize, but when you're organizing a client and under a business, there's a process you need to have, you know, you need to plan it out. There's certain things you need to do in order for the end result to be something that the client can not just enjoy, but can use, can maintain, if you will. Like, and I don't feel like I did that. So anyway, so as I'm, you know, organizing, I go to her husband's side and he has like thousands of belts and shirts, and I'm basically doing the same thing that I did to her side, just categorizing, just kind of just putting things close to each other, kind of making it make sense. I do remember her coming in and saying, you know what, I actually don't want that hat. I don't want this. But it wasn't enough to really make a dent or put a dent in the closet. It still was super jam-packed. Like there was no way that the closet could have been properly organized if she didn't declutter. And because she didn't do that, or because we didn't do that, it's not even her fault, my fault, because I didn't suggest that, she was left with a overfilled closet that was categorized. For some that works, but to properly organize a closet, that doesn't work. That don't work. If you are organizing a closet in 4 hours, you're probably organizing a very small closet, not even a walk-in, just a small closet that's probably extremely cluttered. So anyway, so she really enjoyed it. She really liked it. And then she liked it so much, she scheduled another session for me to come in and organize her office. So many lessons that I learned because of this client. So anyway, so I put a few things away off camera, but I'm at a point where my wallet is pretty much done. She is a little bit jam-packed, but she has a lot of important things in here, so she's gonna stay like that. But anyway, and I also put my makeup and my sanitary stuff in here. So she is locked and loaded. And I also have some other things. So I am not gonna keep my tripod in my purse. I'm gonna put it where it needs to go. I somehow think that I'm gonna use my tripod and I never do. So why do I keep telling myself that I will? No, get out of my purse because you're heavy. I typically have my planner in my purse because it has something to write on. You know what? I'm gonna put this in here because that's where you belong. My pen. Go in here. She is good. What is this? This is IKEA. You can go. Bye-bye. This is actually makeup. So anyway, some lessons that I've learned. So one lesson that I learned is how important it is to plan. So for a long time in my business, I never really planned out a client or a customer or a session. I kind of just looked at their space, knew what I wanted to do, and would go. I even would shop at 10 different stores just to find a few items for the client because I didn't want them to spend too much money on products, but it was weighing on me. So many things I did wrong in the beginning, and compared to now I don't do any of that. I plan for every client that I have. If I don't plan that session, I won't go to the session. Like, I need to understand and know what I'm doing. And I also like the client to know what we're doing so that we can move efficiently through the process and finish and create an organized space that they're gonna enjoy. So I always plan, and literally it has changed my business substantially. Like, I no longer am super anxious when I go to a client because I know what I'm gonna do. I'm no longer blindsided by things that I didn't see during the consultation, because if I am, I know what I need to do. There's just so many things and processes and procedures that I follow now that I didn't before. So if you are trying to start off your organizing business or service business, make sure you plan. If it's your first client, plan it out. Write what you need to do. Write it out. It doesn't need to be verbatim. It doesn't need to be extremely detailed. Just as long as you understand what you need to do, then you can do a good job in that client's home. Number 2 is you are the expert. Just understand that that person who hired you because you know what you're doing, even if you don't. I know it sounds crazy, but you know what you're doing. They hired you because they saw your work. Maybe they were referred to you by someone, but they believe that you are the expert. At that time, I was probably not an expert. Today, I do believe I'm an expert, but still, they hired me. She hired me because she believed I was an expert. And I don't feel like I portrayed an expert because I didn't speak up. I didn't tell her, hey, we need to declutter together, or you need to declutter before I get there. I didn't say any of that. I didn't even use the word declutter. That's why I'm always telling you guys, declutter first, because if you don't do that, then organizing is literally pointless unless you don't have a lot of stuff. So I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have been more, not more talkative, but more assertive, and yeah, more assertive. I wish I would have done that. I kind of just like let her do her thing, and I was just there freaking out. And I should have said, hey, okay, this is the issue that I'm coming across. I need you to help me make some decisions. I didn't say any of that. I mean, the verbiage wasn't even in my vocabulary. But that's something that I wish I would have done back then, because of course today, I mean, sometimes they're like, wow, you don't hold it back. I do not. Because my goal is to help you get to an organized space. And if what you're doing isn't working, and if I'm not speaking up and giving you advice and nothing's happening in your space, then there's something wrong. There's a disconnect. So I have to speak up. I'm constantly saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Unless your space doesn't really require that, then I won't, but for the most part, I do. I'm the expert, so I act as if I'm the expert. And at this point in my career, I am the expert. Let's just, toot my horn or whatever. I know what I'm doing. Anywho, I don't want this in my purse. This is a marker that I actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it in my purse because I have a client on Wednesday and I don't want to forget it. It's a permanent marker, permanent acrylic marker. It's an acrylic paint marker that is probably the best in the game because the tip is fine. Anywho, definitely need this in there. All right. Oh, okay. This is trash. Okay, this is my client's. I need to give that to her. This needs to be charged. And this is where my camera goes. And whenever I charge my batteries, I put her in here. All right, and then all this other stuff needs to get the heck out of my bag. We are good, yay. Okay, this makes me so happy that I'm putting in my bag. You don't understand. I'm gonna put my coins in my coin area, not in my bag. I don't have any coins in my bag. So I am going to bring those downstairs. Anyway, I have my purse here, but also understand what you're getting yourself into. Organizing or doing a service in your family and friends' home is one thing, but doing it in a stranger's home is another. I freaked out the first time I went into a stranger's home. And of course, clearly I continue doing it, but that can be the end for a lot of people because it's a really scary experience, especially when you have no idea who this person is, what they're about. Of course, at this point, it's a little easier for me to go into a person's home because we've kind of vetted, well, I vetted them before I've gotten there. So I kind of understand who they are-ish. But outside of that, understand what you're getting yourself into, because when you're going into a business doing something that you love, it no longer becomes a hobby, right? It becomes a business, and there's something that you have to deliver to the client. It is no longer something that I created and I love. Like, oh my God, this is great, I love it. No, it's, does the client like it? Did you deliver what you told them you would deliver? Is this something you really want to continue doing? Because it's not always going to be butterflies. It's not always that anymore. No. It is a business. It is something that I do for people to get paid. And it is not, you know, the hobby that I once really, really loved. Not that I don't love it anymore, but it is different. It's different. The love that I have for organizing people's homes is different. And I absolutely, I mean, it's part of me now, and I love everything that it brings into my life, but it's different. So just understand what you're getting yourself into, because it will change, and customer service is key. Like, you are now dealing with other people. So it's no longer a favor. It is something you're doing for a purpose. It's something you're doing. You're doing this service for someone who needs the service, and their expectations are a certain way. And for the most part, you gotta deliver it. So you may not always be happy. Trust me, even till today, there's times where I'm not happy with the results, but the client is, and that's what matters. And I brush it off and I move on. And I've had to learn that within years. So you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And once you do, and this is something you want to do, then do it. Do it. Go for it. Whatever it is, guys, go for it. It's waiting for you. It needs you. So anyway, that was my first client. But before, I'm going to put my wallet in here. I like my wallet, like, this is the front. In the front, so I know, you know what? Yeah, so I know where to go. I like my planner in the middle. I usually just zip her up, so she is there on her own doing her thing. Bye, girl. And then I like everything else in the back. I have my little makeup cabinet. I have my makeup pouch, my measuring tape. Usually have my camera in there. This is for the clients. I'm gonna put it in this pocket, and I'm gonna put this in this pocket. And she's organized. Oh my gosh, this makes me so happy. Yay, she's organized. Ignore the receipts. Anyway, that's how my first client went. It was the most daunting, most anxious, most scary thing that I've ever experienced. But I'm so happy I did. I'm so happy, first of all, that I had the client that I had, because if you don't know, you probably don't, she's the one who connected me with my amazing accountant, Alex. So I'm forever so grateful for her. She is what catapulted my business. She's where I started, and because of the experience that I had with her, I continued, and I am where I am today. So I know my story time isn't like this crazy story time, but it's what I experienced. Thankfully, I don't have too many crazy stories. So anyway, hopefully this video inspires someone out there. Hopefully you listen to my video and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go do what I wanna do. I'm gonna go follow my dreams. You should. So let me know in the comment section below if you remember your first client, whether it's in organizing in any kind of service, whether it's you selling a product, whatever it is, let me know. I'd love to hear your story. Oh, I can't wait to hear your stories. I do have a few videos coming out soon. I know it's been a minute. This is busy season for organizers, so it's been crazy, but I do plan on filming ahead of time so that I have a few going out. And yeah, that's it. Let's put her down so she can sit in her place. Anyway, you know what time it is. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so very much for watching this video. And as always, I'll see you soon. Bye. Days off so you can go home.